Hey everyone! So this is going to be first in a series of going live and live reviewing for you different US brands. So I'm sure there will be a few more non-US brands that crop up, but as far as I know right now, I'm completely done with that. So I am taking this list from the question that I posted in our Using Essential Oils Safely Facebook group, and I'm going in order of your comments. So the first comment is from Frances, and she suggested that I review Jade Bloom. So I'm sure a lot of these companies I am familiar with. I have visited before, but I've never gone live to review them for you in this way. So this is one that also, some of these, I just want to say too, some of these US companies may actually ship outside of the US, but they're mostly US based. So actually, let me do this so you guys can hear me a little bit better. Sorry about that. So let's take a look at their singles. And just like with any company that has blends available, I review those as well to see how they are doing in their formulations. So let's take a look at Allspice. I know this is one that has a lot of safety issues. So at least what I want to see here is that the company is letting you know what those safety issues are. Alrighty, so let's see. We have details here. I am looking for safety information. So here is their disclaimer. Their cover your butt, which most companies are going to have. Avoiding pregnancy. So this is probably on all of the essential oils. That does not mean that the essential oil actually can't be used in pregnancy. It's just a cover your butt thing. I do agree that all essential oils should be kept away from the eye. Definitely make sure your kids can't reach them before you intend to have them use them. So let me see if there's any specific safety information. Allspice is one that I do not recommend anyone use because there are so many safety issues with it. So there are a handful of essential oils that I'm like, you know what? Don't even use it. Too risky. This is anticoagulant. It's potentially carcinogenic. You should not use it if pregnant or breastfeeding. It has drug interactions as well. So those are the things that I'm looking for here, and I'm not sure if I am finding them. I am finding reasons why you should use it, and so I'm seeing benefits here, but I am not seeing anything letting you guys know that this is anticoagulant at least. Okay, so let me check out another essential oil. Let's check out Aniseed. This is also one that should be avoided completely due to similar issues, actually. Anticoagulant, potentially carcinogenic, reproductive hormone modulator. So I'm interested to see if they warn you to not use it if you are pregnant. Oh, okay. Now I'm going to have to go back because was this here on the other one too? Okay, so this is perfect. So this is exactly what I want to see here. So good job. So aniseed is carcinogenic. High risk high risk individuals should be careful not to overexpose themselves to this oil. Please stay within a 2.4% dilution ratio and use extra caution. Excellent. So this is exactly what I want to see. So if companies choose to use risky essential oils, then at least you should know that they're risky. Let me go back on that one and just make sure that I didn't miss that on this one because, yeah, I didn't think so. I knew there was some big text down there, but I didn't think it said that. Okay, so Allspice also should have that disclaimer. And the topical max for Allspice is 0.15%. Okay, so kind of like a 50-50 mixture of safety here so far. So let's take a look at bergamot. Okay, so I'm noticing this is saying pharmaceutical. Another one said therapeutic, so I'm not really sure what their intent is in putting that label on it. There are no official grading systems for essential oils, FYI. So I'm not sure what their intent is for that labeling. So the bergamot or the bergaptan has been removed from our bergamot essential oil. That is the constituent known for causing phototoxicity. Okay, so this is cold pressed, but bergaptan free. Perfect. Then it doesn't need to be listed as phototoxic then. Okay. That's good to know. Let's see. So Burch is super, super risky. This, like wintergreen, is extremely anticoagulant. So let me see if they have any. No, so they really don't have. Okay, they have extremely potent, use with care. Consult a professional reference for correct dilution ratios prior to application. So notice on the aniseed, they actually had the precise dilution necessary to keep in mind, but they don't have it here. And they should. They should be consistent. Everyone should be consistent. So this also is a 2.5% dilution if you choose to use it. This is one that's for ages 10 plus. It's anticoagulant. It's toxic. If you have salicylate sensitivity or ADD, ADHD, you want to avoid it. You want to avoid a pregnant, breastfeeding. It also has drug interactions. So this is one that you have to be very, very careful with. And it would be nice to see some exact safety listed here instead of used with care, because used with care to you may seem different or may have a different meaning than used with care to somebody else. So the specific safety should be listed on these profiles. So let's take a look at Jade. Oh, I can't believe they're selling Jade. Yikes. Camphor, Cananga, Caraway, Cardamom. Okay, Cardamom is one that's for ages 10 and above. So let's see what they have here. So they do recognize its high 1,8-cineol content, but I'm not seeing anything here warning you to not use with children under the age of 10. Just their generic disclaimer, not specific. Previously, like for the aniseed, they did have specific safety information here. So that would be a great place to continue the trend across all of their essential oils and add the safety there too for all of them. So let's see. Cassia has a lot of safety issues. Let's see if they have any listed. Let's see if they have any listed. So they really don't. They just have their generic disclaimer here. So Cassia is anticoagulant. You want to be super, super careful when you use it. It has a very, very low topical max as well. Let's see. Anticoagulant, drug interactions. Do not use it pregnant or breastfeeding. Avoid using on children under the age of 2 topically. And I don't know if it's under more information. I don't see any safety issues listed there either. Okay, interesting. All right, let's skip to cinnamon bark. Cinnamon bark, like Cassia, has a lot of safety issues, but usually if anybody lists safety issues for either one, they're listing it for cinnamon bark and nothing. So this is not to be used if pregnant or breastfeeding. It has an extremely low topical max that's really difficult to achieve. Best inhaled. Yeah, not seeing any of that here either. So it looks like they have a lot of work to do in the area of adding safety information to their profiles. And the reason why that's important is if you are new to essential oils, you don't know anything, like you don't know what the safety issues are. So when you are seeing something like be careful using, or you don't see anything like this is anticoagulant, you aren't going to understand to be careful with that essential oil in that specific way. So this essential oil, eucalyptus, is recommended for ages 10 and up due to the 1,8-cineol, which can cause labored breathing and slow respiration in children. I'm not seeing any of that listed here as a heads up or a warning to you. So they had the aniseed correct. They have the aniseed perfect. But I'm not seeing that trend followed on these other essential oils, unfortunately. Fennel is one of the handful that I suggest avoiding completely because it's it's potentially carcinogenic and it is a reproductive hormone modulator. It's just super risky. Okay, so they do have that here. Fennel essential oils reported at potentially carcinogenic constituents. High-risk individuals should be careful not to overexpose themselves to this oil. Please stay with a 2.5% dilution ratio and use extra caution. So they do have that here. That's good to see. Great. Okay, so they have 2 of them right. Let's see if they have, see what they have for, see what else they have. So lavender is actually anticoagulant, by the way. Lavender is not the same as lavender. It may seem like it is, but it actually does have safety issues that lavender does not have. Extremely potent use with care. Yeah, so this is definitely generic. So it seems like occasionally they're adding specific information on the bottom here, and maybe it's a work in progress. Maybe they're working through the essential oils, and maybe that's something that they will have added for everything eventually. So that is something that we will, I guess, find out. You know what? Let's take a look at this myrtle. There are different kinds of myrtle, and depending on which one it is, this could be safe or not safe. So let's see what the botanical name is for this one. Botanical name. Myrtus communis. Okay, let me just make sure that's the only Myrtus communis. Okay, it is the only Myrtus communis. Great. So this particular one is recommended to avoid completely as well. It is potentially carcinogenic. And they do have that listed here. That is good to know. They also have the topical max accurate too. So that is good to see. Great. Great. So they just have a mixture of, we're going to give you safety information and we are not going to give you safety information. Now, the reason why that's important to note is if you are taking seriously those few essential oils where they do have those warnings, you are going to assume that is going to be the same across the board. And when they don't have it listed for other ones that should, you aren't going to realize that, and you could be using these essential oils unsafely, not having that knowledge. So there definitely needs to be some consistency with the safety information. Now, I mention this as often as I can, but I probably don't mention it often enough. The lack of safety information or the addition of safety information does not in any way reflect the quality of the essential oils. That is something totally different. We would need to do GCMS testing. Some websites, and I did see this one actually has some. Actually, let's take a peek at one of them. They do have GCMs reports. Now, that is good to see. That is good to see because it does let you know that the company realizes that GCMS reports are important. However, some companies don't have current ones. So let me just click on the bergamot and let's take a look at their GCMS reports. I think it's under certifications, if I remember correctly. So a certificate of analysis isn't as important, really. Okay, so as a note, do you guys see this? Let me zoom in a little bit more. What do you notice, those of you who are here live with me? What do you notice about this right here? Tell me what you notice about this, just right off the bat. It's the date. So here's the thing with GCMS reporting. Let me just get right in your faces here a little bit. Here's the thing with GCMS reporting. Now, so I did third-party testing several years, probably 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, I did some third-party testing. And that was pioneered by me and this group. And we did these tests, which really opened the eyes of the essential oil companies. Trust me, they noticed our group. And a lot of them since then started providing GCMS reports because that's what I was saying. I'm like, these companies need to start providing these reports so we can check them out, so we can look at them, so we can see exactly what's in these essential oils. So what's happened is sometimes, as you can see here with the date, is they'll have them, but that's not all we want to see. We want to see that they have them, but they are consistently updated. So the date here says 5/1/18. So if this is an accurate reflection of the bottle that I would be purchasing today, because that's what you want to see, then I have questions. Either this is from way back in 2018, this could be potentially oxidized at this point, or this is a report that was run almost 2 years ago that is no longer valid now. So what am I getting now? What kind of essential oil am I getting at this point? Does this mean that they only ran a GCMS test back then? Does this mean that they aren't doing them consistently? Because what I want to see is not just a GCMS report available, but I want to see the current one that I'm about to buy. I want to know if I bought a bottle a year ago. I want to be able to come and look it up here. So there are companies out there, I know of one in particular, that does offer the ability to look up, according to the lot number on the bottle, any essential oil that you have. So if you didn't even realize this was a thing and you want to grab your bottle, and if it has a lot number on it from 4 years ago and you want to see what the quality was at that time, you should be able to do that. So that is something that I noticed on this particular GCMS, and that's why I didn't really pay much attention earlier. I'm like, okay, so they have a GCMS report, but what does that really tell us? It may not actually tell us what we want to know, but let's go ahead and click on it. It is an old report. So let's take a peek at bergamot essential oil. So they said that the bergaptin has been removed. The furanocoumarins have been removed so that this is not phototoxic. This is high in geraniol. You know what? I'm going to actually grab my essential oil safety book, and I'm going to actually see what this says that bergamot should have in it. And that is my tip for you if you are trying to see, okay, so there's a GCMS report. Like, what does this mean? Like, what can I do with this? This is what you would do. So for the furanocoumarin-free one, see this, I was going to say that at least seemed kind of high. This is kind of high in geraniol. That's a little bit unusual. According to essential oil safety, the furanocoumarin-free bergamot should be high in geraniol. The furanocoumarin-free bergamot should not have any geraniol. It may have traces, but according to the profile here, it's going to be high in limonene. So it's going to have up to 45% of limonene. And where's the limonene? I think I just up here. So that is within range. So the 35% is within range. The linalool acetate will be next at up to about 30%. And it is, so it's around 30%, so that's good. Linalool can be up to 20%. I just saw it here a minute ago. Where's the linalool? So that's 12. So that's within the range of 4 to 20. So there are ranges. You aren't going to have an exact number for every single batch because there are going to be variables to consider. But what I'm looking at in essential oil safety is the wild bergamot, that's wild bergamot, is high in geraniol, but it's up to, 80 to 90%, and this is only 30. So that's super interesting. So expressed bergamot. So the cold pressed bergamot, let's see how that looks. It has a fairly similar profile. It's going to be a little bit higher on the linalool acetate, but I'm not seeing any geraniol listed, which doesn't mean anything necessarily, but that is kind of a lot of geraniol. So I'm not sure how to take that. Let me see. Yeah, because there's no geraniol listed at all for either bergamot, only the wild bergamot. So I am wondering if potentially this could be a mixture of wild bergamot and regular bergamot, because the wild bergamot has 80 to 90% of geraniol. That's high. So if they mix this kind of 50-50, I'm not saying they did. I'm not saying they did. I'm just saying, I'm just looking at the profiles in essential oil safety. I'm just looking at what the constituents are supposed to look like, and they're not looking identical. Or even close, really, in that sense. So that's super interesting. So let me see if I can find any furanocoumarins or bergaptin here. There's a little bit of this here, bergamotine, which is normal in that range. So that's good to see. Okay. So I guess the takeaway for this would be check the date out. that would be something that would be important to check. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the blends. Let's see how they are formulating their blends. I can let you know if they include essential oils that are effective for that issue. And also let's take a look at how they are suggesting that you use it as well. So we have, this is an allergy blend. Let's see what essential oils. Ooh, okay. So they are suggesting it's great for airborne allergies, but it can be used internally and diluted in coffee, juice, or honey. So that would not be something that I would recommend for sure. Yeah, so they're suggesting to use it internally. I do not recommend that. Essential oils for allergies should be inhaled. So they are suggesting lavender, peppermint, and lemon. So I don't know why, but this is a common thing that I've seen. It's like, oh, lavender, peppermint, and lemon, like LLP, right? Lavender, lemon, and peppermint. It's like what you hear, but not all of them are actually antihistamine. They're not all actually great for allergies. So this may work for some people, but this is not personally how I would formulate a blend for allergies. And I definitely wouldn't be rubbing it all over yourself. Rub 3 to 4 drops on your neck. See, it doesn't say to dilute either. So that's something that I would be looking for, is a recommendation for diluting. But again, I would inhale this. That's how I would suggest using this blend for allergies. Let's see. Boost, citrus, cleaning, cleanse, defend, delight, digest. Let's take a look at this digest blend. Let's see what essential oils they have in here. Ginger's good. So fennel. I was afraid of that. Anise, caraway. Yeah, so some of these essential oils are actually potentially carcinogenic, so I don't recommend this particular blend. Ginger is great. Coriander is great. Peppermint is great for over ages 6. But yeah, some of these other ones as herbs, they're fantastic. So if you have these in herbal form or as an herbal tea, they will be effective and great and excellent without the adverse reactions. But as for the essential oils, I would say no. Let's see what else they have. I don't know, with discretion. Okay, bathroom spray. Empower. Do essential oils really empower? I don't know. So let's take a look at entice, since it's Valentine's Day coming up, and this, I'm assuming, has aphrodisiac essential oils in it. So let's see. So this is pre-diluted, of course, because it's a roller. So jasmine, orange, ylang-ylang, vanilla, and cypress. So that sounds like a deliciously enticing blend. That sounds like it would be wonderful to smell. The question, however, is what is this diluted at? So let's see if there's any concentration that they're letting you know that this is diluted to, because jasmine and ylang-ylang both have really low topical maxes under 1%. So if this blend is at a 50% dilution, you could be inviting topical redness or irritation or sensitization to your skin. So this is something we don't know. I would rather see a blend that you could make your own roller from, which they may have. Let's see if they have this blend that's not in roller form. Then that would be something that you could actually make yourself. Well, I don't see it here alphabetically. So it's only available as a roller. So that would be a question that I would have, is what is the dilution, so that we know we are not causing our skin issues potentially. Let's take a look at the Focus blend and see how this is. Okay, so we have spearmint, Spanish sage, geranium, German chamomile, and myrtle. So yeah, we have a couple of these that are pretty risky to use, potentially carcinogenic. Spearmint can be useful. German chamomile and geranium are usually on the calming side of things, which could work for focus depending on which kind of focus issues that you personally have. So this could work for some people. I would definitely recommend inhaling it. Rolling down the back of your spine and rubbing excess oil into the skin is not something that I would recommend as being effective or as being safe. So let's take a peek at a couple more blends and then I will wrap this up. I kind of have a feel for what I personally feel, but you guys, as you're going through this, can have your own feelings as well. Let's take a look at a hair loss blend. This appears to be pre-diluted. So let's see how they've done this. This formulation of Prevent is proprietary. Okay. Most companies feel their blends are proprietary and they don't want to share any information at all. So we have fractionated coconut oil, castor oil. So castor oil is great. So my own hair loss recipe, I recommend castor oil as being the carrier oil that I would recommend because it is useful for hair growth. Fractionated coconut oil is not therapeutic at all. So it's not something that I recommend people have on hand. It's great if you have nothing. You definitely want to dilute those essential oils, but it's completely non-therapeutic and stripped of all therapeutic value. So I don't recommend using it if you can help it. Cedarwood may help. Thyme is risky, and carrot seed is great for skin health, but not exactly for hair growth or for hair loss. Let's see what they have here. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily... Yeah, no, and it doesn't have a natural SPF. Essential oils do not have a natural SPF. They do not. So I do not recommend following that advice. All right, so I'm going to invite you, if you have any questions or comments, to leave them below. If you have questions about anything that I've said, also, if you have questions about any of the blends that I haven't gone over, if you have questions about the safety information or the lack thereof that they have on any of their profiles, let me know. Some of them, they do have great safety for. Others, they have no safety for when they should. So if you are choosing to purchase from this company and you are interested to know about the safety, about the recommendations that you are seeing that they are recommending and you want to run them by me, go right ahead. Leave them in the comments below and I can check those out and let you know. If you are curious, because I get asked a lot, what book am I looking at when I do this? I am looking at my Essential Oil Safety Files book that you can find at ueoslibrary.com. It's super handy so that you can have this as a reference yourself when you are looking at websites, because you could be looking at this website or other websites. I don't know why my music just started playing. Hey Siri, shut off the music. Really? Sorry about that, guys. So anyways, I was wrapping this up anyways. You can take a look at the safety information yourself to know, so that you have that information on hand for yourself and not have to rely on a website that is not giving you that information. So I'm going to upload this to YouTube and I'll be back with another review in a little bit.